Are there aspects to your day that you feel as if you're just, checking the box? Do you ever strive to reach out of your comfort zone, become uncomfortable, and level up? Privileged to be your host, this is Jason Wabick. Now, let's uncheck the box. A great day to everybody out there. Once again, my name is Jason Wabick, host of the Uncheck the Box podcast, where today we yet again are still on this journey of being the best version of ourselves that we can possibly be. And, it seems like it's a destination that we never reach, but that is the truth, right? Always striving to push ourselves beyond what we think we are capable of, just to find out there is another gear, another level beyond that comfort zone. So we're always pushing ourselves. At least that's the intention anyway. At least that's what we should be striving for and pushing for. And today is no exception. We are talking about the close relationship between fear and faith. There's this quote out there, not really a quote by anybody specific, but more so a saying that is used loosely. Things are going to get worse before they get better. And although that might be true, do we really have evidence that states this to be true? Or do we just throw that out there because it is our assumption that it's going to get worse? Because if we create our reality and say that it is definitely going to get worse before it's going to get better, then there's a very good chance that that will be our outcome. Because there is something called fear that is in place. So I wanted to take a breakdown, a deeper dive into the word fear and then into the word faith. And we are going to find out just how closely they are related. So if we look up in the dictionary, the word fear, in the Merriam-Webster dictionary, it says an unpleasant, often strong emotion caused by anticipation or awareness of danger. And then dictionary.com defines it as a distressing emotion aroused by impeding danger, evil, pain. Whether the threat is real or imagined, the feeling or condition of being afraid. So if we look at that, there's this acronym out there for fear, false evidence appearing real. In both of those definitions, it talks about an anticipation or impeding, or whether it's real or imagined. You see, everybody, it's the idea or thought that, a fear is created based off of an unpleasant emotion on something that may or may not take place into the future. Going back to that quote, things are going to get worse before it gets better. We are anticipating something unpleasant. Thus, our future has a greater chance of manifesting that unpleasant situation. But let's take a look at the word faith. In the Merriam-Webster dictionary, it says a firm belief in something for which there is no proof. And then dictionary.com, a belief that is not based on proof. So very, very similar. And I know the word faith, a lot of times gets tied to a religious belief, has a religious connotation to it. But the word itself, you can have faith in people in a scenario. You can have faith in simply karma or the universe, right? Doesn't necessarily have to be tied to religion. But let's take a deeper look at faith. It's having a strong belief in something that we have no proof. So it's something that's going to happen in the future that we have no idea if or what the outcome is going to be. So do you see, everybody, how fear, is a strong emotion, an unpleasant feeling on something that may or may not happen in the future? And faith is a strong emotional positive outlook on something that may or may not happen in the future. Do you see how they are so closely tied to each other? In a lot of cases, we get to choose which of those two ways we decide to attack a situation. See, we have to realize that fear can paralyze us, everybody. And courage frees us to live life to its fullest. But if fear is present, it's going to stop us dead in our tracks because we are going to have that unpleasant moment, that distressing moment that's going to say stop, pause, hold back. Like I oftentimes bring up, comfort zone, non-comfort zone. A lot of times fear will hold us back. Fear and faith can't live in the same space, everybody. It just can't. Isn't fear putting faith into the wrong thing? Right? So if we have fear, we don't have faith. Again, they can't reside in the same space. So we just have to realize that if we choose fear, we will greater chance that we will be stopped right where we are and we will revert back into what is comfortable. So what can we do? There's a few takeaways here. What can we do? Number one, it starts with courage, everybody. I read this little snippet of an article, and it said, the great violinist Isaac Stern once observed an incredibly talented 9-year-old violinist. While clearly talented, Stern made the remark that you can't really tell how an artist will be until the teen years, for that is when fear comes in. Then and only then can you see if the person has courage. You can't learn courage until you know fear. My goodness. I'll tell you, for those of you that listened to my last episode, and it was really tied to a coaching opportunity that I had with my daughter, and she's 11, so she's approaching her teen years, right, and an accomplished gymnast, and fear is starting to set in for her. And right now we're helping her navigate that and making sure that she doesn't say to herself that things are going to get worse before they get better. It's really working on the direct opposite of that. And so, as Stern points out with this violinist, yes, fear starts to set in. So now, once that person knows fear, let's just see what their courage level is. Being more courageous in your life will help you respond appropriately to risks and accomplish positive things in your life. But it takes work to move beyond your fears. In fact, being courageous is about thinking things through, examining the risks and rewards, and acting in spite of the fear that inevitably sets in. You see, everybody, fear is inevitable. We're going to feel fear. There's just no way to avoid it. And I think to some degree, I don't think we want to avoid it. I think we've got to recognize it. And we'll get to that in just a couple minutes. But it's what we do with it, how we embrace it, or the lack thereof, that'll ultimately decide what our results are going to be. Having courage allows us to see the world from a different perspective. Choosing to step out of our comfort zone and to be more courageous makes you makes you a more well-rounded person and broadens the experiences that you have in life. So everybody, courage is where we start. And then we move on to the second bullet point, and that is from an episode, a handful of episodes ago, titled Respond versus React, right? So I truly think that this is applicable here. You know, it is always better to respond versus reacting. You know, if we react to fear, that fight or flight that sets in, we understand that not only will we be a victim of the fear, and we could react in a way that maybe we didn't intend to, and look back and wish we would have chosen our actions or words differently. But if we respond, it allows us to take a step back and assess everything. This is one of the benefits of fear. It forces us to slow down and evaluate risks properly. And as I said many times, let's give our feelings names and let's own them. Let's own our fear. Let's recognize when we're feeling fear. It is ours, and we certainly are feeling that way for a specific reason, and we should be feeling that way for a specific reason. However, we get to choose whether we react or respond. We get to choose whether or not we let the fear take us over, or if we're going to choose faith. If we react, we might be continuing to manifest our fear and display things like distrust, hate, and anger. And we see a lot of that going on in the world right now, especially with division. So a lot of times our knee-jerk reaction is to respond with those things. If we respond, we recognize that our feelings are still there. However, we are in control and we can choose faith over fear. Listen, everybody, this is not easy to do. Think about it. To trust when it seems impossible, to love when the world is filled with so much hate, to believe when there just is no evidence of any positive outcome. It is not easy to do, but that's where the faith comes in. It's the trust, it's the belief, it's the love when we don't see it present right now. But that's what the world needs. That's what each other needs. We need love. We need support. We need to rally around each other. If we all did that, wouldn't this be a better place? If this was easy, we wouldn't be dealing with some of the issues that we've got going on right now. We'd be helping each other versus fighting. After all, choosing faith, again, is, I think, hands down, the obvious choice, but it's certainly not the easiest. Then lastly, everybody, practice leaving your comfort zone. Now that we've mustered up enough courage and we have reflected and are ready to respond, it is time to leave our comfort zone. Continue to build those courage muscles, but we got to start small. So, for example, if you have a difficult time, should I say, if there's a fear of meeting new people, right? You've got that fear present. This is such a small level here. Then walk into a place and start pushing yourself out there. Have the courage to go up and start talking with people. And you'll find out by asking good questions that people are just like you. You'll get to know them. They get to know you. And then all of a sudden, you have faith in the process and faith in other people. Like I've said many times, I teach sales representatives how to make phone calls. There's a fear of the phones. So we have to continue to grow our muscles, our courage muscles, to pick up the phone and engage people. And what we're going to find out is that there are a large number of people out there that really could utilize our help at that moment, helping them find a solution in today's crazy retail market. After all, that is what our goal is when engaging them over the phones. But our fear takes over. We create a reality that may or may not be the case, oftentimes is not the case, and that holds us back. So fear over faith, or should I say faith over fear, right? It is our choice. We get to choose which one we pick. It is not easy, but the one you pick could affect and enrich your life. Will you choose to live in fear, or will you choose to live in faith? Because again, it is up to us. Listen, everybody, there's a lot of fear out there in this world. There's a lot of things going on, as I mentioned, a lot of fear that's placed in us, in social media, on the news. You know, I live in Buffalo, New York, and the most gruesome attack that took place last weekend, which is being investigated as a hate crime, largest mass shooting in Buffalo, New York history. There's fear out there. It is real. It is palpable. But I don't know about everybody out there. I know not everybody will, but I choose love. I choose support. I choose faith. I choose that because that's what the world needs now. It's what our brothers and sisters need right now. It's what our friends need now, our families. But it is not easy. There's a lot of fear, and as I said before, rightfully so in some cases. So let's own it, but let's just realize that we get to dictate how our future is influenced. We get to choose how it is we respond versus reacting. And most importantly, we get to decide to enter into our world every day with as much courage as possible. So everybody grow those courage muscles. There's a lot of good to do out there. We need each other in today's world. We need each other. Let's spread love. Let's spread hope. Let's spread faith. Listen, I appreciate all of you. I appreciate this platform. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day today. I will absolutely see you this time, same place, And I just appreciate you. Much love out there. Have a great rest of your day and a phenomenal rest of your week. Until next time, everybody, take care. Appreciate you.